see that. There's a puddle. Is there water in there? So, here's another little tip. Kona loves to drink out of the puddles. There's no water in this one, even though we had a lot of rain last night and yesterday. So that made me think, how could I recreate mud water for her? Because she definitely prefers the mud water over what she has at home, over all the beautiful clean water. So I checked, what could we do? What could I do to actually make her like the water better? Because she's a feral dog. They have the same needs for water, but the taste might be different. So I googled that, and AI spit out that bone broth. If you mix bone broth, a little bit of bone broth, mix it with water, then it kind of mimics the nutrients that they would find in mud water. So I don't know if that's true. I'm going to do a little bit more research, and I'm also going to try it out, but not without doing my research first. So here's the thing. When you have a feral dog, you need to think about the little things that make them different. They still have the same needs. They need food, they need shelter, they need water, they need companionship, because regardless of how feral they are, it doesn't matter how scared they are, how skittish they are, they still have a social need. They still have a need for social connection, and eventually for emotional connection with you. So the awareness that is what is happening, that's what matters. That is important. But because they're feral, chances are that their system is not really used to a whole lot of kibbles. Unless somebody just put bags of kibbles out there, which we find sometimes in areas where there are a lot of feral dogs. But typically, they are not necessarily used to kibbles. So with Kona, I have switched her over to, right now, she's on fresh pet. So I have weaned her off of kibbles. Kibbles is what she got at the shelter, but I weaned her off of that. And now she is on fresh pet. And she loves it, and she gets eggs. She gets boiled eggs and raw eggs with it. Not every day. I also boil chicken for her with carrots for treats. Hi, babe. And so you just have to rethink a little bit. The needs are the same, but the nuances of those needs can differ. They differ from dog to dog, but definitely from between pet dogs and feral dogs. And so the same thing occurred to me with the water. And here's another thing. Your feral dog, when you think that you need to feel so sorry for them because they're so spooked, they're bolting a lot, and they get scared of every little bit of noise. Just keep in mind that your feral dog, that behavior that you observe in the house is the behavior that kept them safe while they were out and about, where everything either blends into the environment or it needs to be approached or tolerated with caution. Your dog doesn't just lose all that just because you moved them to your house and you're now taking care of them. Their brain has been programmed, has adapted to living that free lifestyle that comes with all kinds of dangers and all kinds of rewards and beautiful things. But that doesn't just go away. There's no off switch for that. Their brain literally has to kind of reprogram itself. And how it does that and how fast it happens, that depends a lot on you. If you go too fast, you are going to create chronic stress. Even if they appear to be okay, if you go too fast, you run the risk of creating chronic stress, which then can result in lead to a host of health problems. If you go too slow, you are going to delay everything. You're never going to get there. You're never going to have a dog that will feel comfortable in your house. If you go too slow, if you give them too much time and you're constantly just waiting for them to come out of their shell, then you're not giving them what their brain needs to actually adapt to your lifestyle, to their new lifestyle. So you need to find that it's not even the golden middle, because most of it is up to them, okay? It's about 90% or 80%, let's say 80% of them calling the shots, 80% of you giving them that time and that space that they need. But the other 20% need to be filled with nudging them a little bit, just a little bit at a time, so that they have something to learn from. What do I mean by nudging them? A tiny little touch here, just a split second, and a tiny little touch there. It depends on what your household is like, It depends on if you have kids at home or you don't have kids at home, every situation is individual, because your lifestyle is different than my lifestyle. I'm out on 35 acres, surrounded by all this. Okay, so Kona did not end up in an apartment on the 3rd floor. Okay, so it's different for you than it is for us. I'm just telling you, nudge them a tiny little bit, but the nudge cannot be so severe that you're going to lose them socially and emotionally. It has to be subtle, it has to be tiny, but it has to be there. It is needed. They need this. So you need to learn them, and they need to get a chance to learn you. So, again, here are the 3 things that are really important. First one is their diet might have to be different than what you would feed a regular dog, a pet dog. Second, I'm going to get some bone broth and try that, as far as her wanting the water inside better. She drinks a lot inside too. But I can tell that she definitely prefers the mud water outside. So that's number 2. Number 3, accept the fact that their behavior is normal. It is not something you have to be sorry about. You don't need to feel pity for them when they shy away from something. That shying away is what kept them alive in the outdoors. That is their life. That is who they are. That is not who they have to be for the rest of their life. But for right now, that is who they are. Accept it. Don't pity them. Don't pity them. Don't try to change them. Just meet their needs. And then actually there's the 4th point, is that don't go too fast, even if they look like they are okay. Don't go too slow. I have heard of one case where the people were ignoring their dog for 6 months. They have ignored their dog for 6 months because they wanted to give him all that space. Well, 6 months later, yeah, the dog started feeling more confident in the home, but still, he was still spooked easily, and he still did not want to be really close to his people because they gave him too much space. So instead of building that social unit, the dog built a parallel life. And that's not good for the dog. So what they ended up doing is they got another dog. And because the other dog was a pet dog, the pet dog was able to bridge for the feral dog. But from the last video I watched of them, they were still not able to touch their feral dog or get close. The feral dog wanted to hang out with the pet dog wanted to hang out with the people, and that kind of created a bridge. But the feral dog was still not ready for the people. He just needed that pet dog. He needed that closeness to the pet dog. So that shows you that that dog had a huge need for social connection, for social emotional connection. The people never offered that. They never made themselves available. They never made themselves they never showed the dog that they are an option for this. So you need to be an option, which means about 80% at the beginning, probably 90%. At the very beginning, 100%. Yes, you need to let your dog rest and only do the absolute minimum. That's what I do for the first week or so. Okay? But then I start nudging them a little bit at a time. So then it goes to 90%. Leave them alone, let them relax, let them chill. But 10% you need to nudge them a little bit. You need to challenge them, not with training, with you being there. Sitting a little closer every day. It's and even if it's just for 30 seconds, that's all it takes. That's the 10%, is 30 seconds a day. And then you move to about 80%. Is on their terms, leaving them alone. And then you need to weigh it. Did they just have some stress? If they had some stress, don't leave them alone. Sit close. Sit so close that your presence matters, but far enough away that you're not adding more stress. Or, if they are okay on the leash and you can take them outside, run with them. After stress, let them go potty. Figure out what your dog needs in that moment. Okay? But what they don't need after stress is to be all by themselves. Don't leave them alone. Right, Kona? So there's a little bit more I would like to say, but I have to get her back home. I have to get back home because I have to go to work. If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe and share the video. If you have other friends with a really scared dog or a feral dog, share the video, please. And comment. If you have questions about your own dog, please comment. That's what I'm here for. You have a good day.